Hello. So this is a Baldur's Gate 3 video talking about the best racial benefits. As of 2024, January the 23rd, this is my current standing. Some of the lower tier ones I'm still debating whether I should bump up or not. But let's start with what I've set as S. Um, and I think I have like 203 hours played in Baldur's Gate right now. Might not be a lot, or it might be a lot by some standards. So I have an idea, and I've played around with quite a few different builds. I'm working on some honor runs where I tried to min-max, but I think it's also I think the beauty of Baldur's Gate is not necessarily always to min-max. Like you should build your character the way you would want to do it in D&D. But for the context of this video, let's talk about what I feel like are the S tier races. So number one on my list, which is something that has come up more recently in my playthroughs that I've started to experiment with, is the dwarf race and then the subclass or subrace Dwargar. And that is because not of the inherent abilities, which are not always seen in game, you don't you can't see the level 3 and level 5 unless you go onto the wiki or you find out by circumstance of leveling. At level 3 you get enlarged, which is very useful for melee focused characters. It increases strength, carry weight. You could combo this with either a druid or a melee class. In the context of a druid, you could make yourself into a super big animal. But yeah, all around very strong spell. But where it comes into clutch and what makes this class almost superior, I would say, to other races is the invisibility, since you can use this at the start of every single encounter, and that means you can get a surprise attack on enemies. You can use it also for other instances where you want to maybe steal things or sneak around. I think the fact that you're able to use it, I don't know if it's a glitch or not, but at the start of every encounter, basically out of combat, you can use it an infinite amount of times in combat once per turn or once per, I think it's once per round, right? And then for Githyanki, obviously also very strong class. The fact that you get medium armor proficiency straight off the bat, it means essentially that you can skip multi-classes as a thing in certain builds. Say you wanted to do a warlock, and you will use the weapon buff, which I can't remember, but basically that makes you proficient in any weapon. That build, you could use medium armor, and you don't have to multi-class into fighter for that. Um, just overall very strong, and then you obviously could combine it with rogue, different classes. And then we also have half elf wood or elf wood. I would say this is one of the stronger classes just because of the inherent movement speed increase you get. It is so good in so many contexts where you just want to rush enemies. And then we also have half orc, which have the extra life if you reach 0 hit points, and then savage attacks if you want to critical hit a enemy. So I'd say these are my S tier characters as of now. Let's jump over to A. For A, Dwarf Gold, I'd say this is a good all-around class. Just having that extra amount of HP, it's never going to be a bad thing. For Half Elf Drow, also Fairy Fire and Darkness, very good abilities that you get from 3 and 5. Same thing with Elf and Drow. If you want to use the bow or if you want to go more melee, I would say that should determine if you're playing an elf or a half elf. Because you get bow with one and you get melee with the other. Um, and then Tiefling, I would say Asmodeus and Serial, they're very good. Can be used in many different scenarios. Serial, if you're doing like a fighter build or a paladin build. Gnome Deep, because of the dark vision and the stealth increase. I would say that is very good as well. And then if we're going to jump over to B, I would say human. I even would potentially put this as a C, but I could see there being applications where you would want to use this build if you were doing a specific combination of class with race and you wanted pikes or spears or halberds or glaives. The weapon proficiency could be quite nice. I don't think like they get anything that is necessarily better than the other races. For Tiefling, Mephisto Felice, I don't know how you want to pronounce that, but Tiefling Mephisto, I put that as a B because I haven't experimented with these abilities as much. I've tried Burning Hands, didn't like it because you had to be in close proximity. Flame Blade, I don't know. If you were building something that was fire specific, it could be nice. But yeah, Dragonborn could also be more towards a C, but I would say the good thing about being a Dragonborn is you get natural resistance. So you could do that towards acid, fire, lightning, and certain armors in the game give you fire resistance. So it could be nice to combo the fire resistance that you get from an armor together with like poison or lightning resistance on your Dragonborn. That means you're like a very resistant character. For Gnome Rock, I've put it as a B, mainly because I don't really see the benefit of getting Artificer's Lore unless you're doing like a check character when you want proficiency bonuses. Halfling, Lightfoot, and Strongheart. These I'm still debating whether they should be A's. I'm happy to get some feedback on these, but for now, I haven't really felt like they're in the top tier of characters. I would say though that Brave is quite good. Uh, Advantage on saving against throws and saving throws against being frightened. Very nice. Halfling luck as well could be a good thing. But I feel like once you get going in the game and you have gear and you're getting specific abilities, this isn't really a thing anymore that you have to worry about. And then naturally stealthy, I would probably say that the gnome stealth is better. To see half elf and elf, I just don't see the benefit of playing this unless you're doing it for roleplay perspectives. From my perspective, this is the worst sub race, and I would rather go wood or drow. I just feel like they have stronger all around abilities they get from this race. Gnome Forest, I don't feel like it's a good option. Actually, I noticed after recording this that I had mislabeled Shield as an F instead of a C because I changed the grading. So yeah, this should be the correct list. Dwarf Shield, I don't really see any benefits of using this over any other race. I will also add that in here. But yeah, if you want to feedback on this in the YouTube comments, please go ahead. I'd love to get some more feedback on what people think. If I may have misjudged some races, I feel like some of the ones in maybe B should potentially be bumped to A's, and vice versa. If you feel like anything like that, it would be good to get your feedback. But yeah, let me know. Like this is just based on my experience and my preference, and I could even argue that in some instances, maybe I'm more towards the melee focused races. So I'm not taking into consideration all of the races that might be more beneficial for casters. But again, I feel like when we're talking about S tier, these are the stronger ones. But yeah, I'm happy to receive feedback, and I'll include the link on my document that I've created in the comment section below.